What's going on, everyone? Michael Martin from Yahoo Esports back with another I Got Next this week, and we are heading into an incredible weekend full of fighting games. Is Memorial Day holiday the biggest weekend in fighting game esports of 2017? If you have any interest in fighting games, you're probably going to work ELeague, Combo Breaker, and or Red Bull Kumite into your weekend around the barbecues, baseball, and playoff basketball and hockey. Go Pins! There are plenty more high-profile tournaments coming in 2017, like CEO, EVO, and Capcom Cup, of course. But ELeague is wrapping up its finals on Friday, May 26th, with one winner out of the 8 finalists taking home $150,000 US. And if they happen to make their flights and the random pool generator gods are kind, they could go to Combo Breaker to attempt to win even more money and a ton of points on the Capcom Pro Tour leaderboard. Or they could fly to France and compete in one of the most entertaining international invitationals of the year. So let's run down these ELeague matches real quick. First up, Punk versus PR Balrog. Almost every Street Fighter V player on social media is griping about Balrog and how cheesy he is. His comeback potential is ridiculous, his turnaround punch is overpowered, yet Balrog players haven't really dominated the CPT. PR Balrog just scored his first victory of the season in the North America Online event, and Smug recently won Texas Showdown. Meanwhile, Punk is just winning everything. I don't see that changing in his first matchup. Until someone finds a weakness in Punk, I believe ELeague is his tournament to lose. Unfortunately, Punk won't be attending Combo Breaker because he drew a Friday pool, but I'm sure he'll be okay with that if A, he wins $150,000 at ELeague, and B, he's already going to Capcom Cup after winning 3 straight CPT events. PR Balrog is going to try and win the big prize and then hop a plane to France as he will compete at Red Bull Kumite. Fudo versus Phenom. Fudo has been in the top 3 in 3 different premier events this year. He's bound to break through for a win at some point. He's still playing probably the best Armika in the world. He's just had the misfortune of running up against some of the top players on the CPT leaderboard, like Shannon Punk. Meanwhile, Phenom is the last remaining European in the bracket, and he just secured his first CPT victory at FFM Rumble in Germany. Like Punk and NuckleDu, he's a ridiculously talented young player and should give Fudo some trouble. But I'd like to think Fudo's experience in big games takes a slight edge in this matchup. It's not clear what Fudo's plans are, as he drew a Friday pool for Combo Breaker, and I don't believe he would make it in time for the open qualifier for Red Bull Kumite, since he was not invited to that event. But if he wins ELeague, he can take the rest of the weekend off. He deserves it. Phenom was invited to Red Bull Kumite, so expect him to fly immediately to France upon the conclusion of ELeague. Momochi versus Daigo. In another game, another world, this might have been the perfect Ken versus Ryu matchup. Okay, technically evil Ryu. In Street Fighter V, it's probably an Ibuki Guile matchup. That's weird, but hey, pros gotta do what pros gotta do to win. Daigo found his groove with Guile recently. He looked spectacular the last time we saw him on ELeague. However, in his last 3 CPT Premier events he's played in, he's finished 17th twice and 13th. Street Fighter V has been an uphill battle for Daigo, and he has a huge challenge coming up against Momochi. Recently, Momochi won his first CPT ranking event, Fighter Spirit 2017 in South Korea. Apparently he did it with the Tuxedo Ken also. No matter which character he's playing, Ken or Ibuki, he is still godlike. He finished 9th in his last 2 premier event appearances, and if I were a gambling man, I'd lean towards Momochi in this one. But Daigo's been known for making incredible comebacks in his career, including Stunfest 2015 against Momochi. Daigo will also likely be on that same flight as PR Balrog and Phenom to Red Bull Kumite, but Momochi drew a Saturday pool at Combo Breaker, so there's a good chance we'll see him there. Finally, Wolfkrone versus Shahai. Wolfkrone is probably the biggest surprise in the entire tournament, and he probably shouldn't be. He's good. Real good. And Laura is one hell of a character to deal with. He was in Group C, the Death Pool, and only lost to Fudo in preliminaries. He had a couple close calls against Shan, but ultimately came out victorious in the regular season, which set him up for the match against Xiaohai. I don't know Wolfkrone's history with Xiaohai, but depending on the day, Xiaohai could be the best player in the world, or look terrible. I'd bank on Xiaohai being in top form for this final, especially after exorcising his demon, NuckleDu, in Group D regular season play. But I'm wondering if he'll be ready for Laura because we've seen Wolfkrone beat a lot of top players from Asia, presumably because there aren't many top Laura players in the region. I'd probably take Wolfkrone to advance in this match. Wolfkrone likely won't be at Combo Breaker because he couldn't get a guarantee to not be in a Friday pool at the CPT Premier event. Unfortunate, but those are the breaks. Xiaohai is the 4th and final player in this ELeague bracket to presumably be going straight to France for Red Bull Kumite. Speaking of Red Bull Kumite, let's run down that player list real quick. PR Balrog, Phenom, Daigo, and Xiaohai were invited along with 10 other players. South Korea's XYZZY and Infiltration, UK's Infectious, Japan's Gachikun, Tokido, Nemo, and reigning Kumite champion Bochan, Taiwan's RB, and lastly, French hometown heroes Luffy and Mr. Crimson. By the way, Luffy tweeted recently that Armika, this would be the last time he plays Armika at Red Bull Kumite, so curious to see what happens after that. The Open Qualifier will take place on May 27th, with the final Red Bull Kumite featuring 16 players total on May 28th. Last year, Valmaster and Big Bird made it out of the Open Qualifier. Big Bird is confirmed to be attending again, and perhaps he can make it 2 years in a row. Then maybe they'll just start inviting the guy. I don't want to doubt any players, but I have a hard time feeling like the 4 players flying directly from ELeague in Atlanta will have sufficient rest and relaxation to overcome the competition at Red Bull Kumite. I wouldn't count them out completely, and it wouldn't surprise me if Phenom, Daigo, PR Balrog, or Xiaohai made it into Grand Finals. But that's one heck of a journey. If anyone was a favorite in this event, I'd give it to Bonchan. He's won 2 CPT ranking events and a premier event, Battle Arena Melbourne, in the span of 3 weeks. He's continuing to do things with Nash no one, not even Infiltration, could do in Season 2. His loyalty to that character is paying off, and if anything, maybe his longtime friend and training partner Tokido can give him a hard time. But I think Bonchan is firing on all cylinders right now, and he'll be tough to beat. That brings us to Combo Breaker. It's too hard to predict results for an event with roughly 650 entrants, so I'm not even going to try. Panda Global confirmed Punk isn't showing up, and with Bonchan in France, maybe it's time for someone new to step up and win on the Capcom Pro Tour. But that player might not come from North America. Going through the brackets, I've noticed a few notable international players making the trip to Combo Breaker, we think. GamerB, Sako, Itazan, Mago, and Kazunoko, just to name a few. It also wouldn't surprise me to see if any of these players in the mix in top 8, along with the potential for someone like NuckleDu, Smug, or Justin Wong. The fun thing about Street Fighter V is the variety of players who've stepped up throughout 2017. I'd be happy to see someone like Chris G, LPN, or Alex Myers finally break through with a premier event win. Combo Breakers pools begin Friday, May 26th, run through May 27th, with finals taking place on May 28th. You can catch the ELeague action Friday on TBS, Red Bull Kumite on Twitch and Red Bull TV, and Combo Breaker on Capcom Fighters. Also, don't forget, Injustice 2's Pro League kicks off with Combo Breaker. The event will also host Killer Instinct as part of the 2017 Ultra Tour, and Combo Breaker will feature a number of other events, including Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Tekken 7, Guilty Gear Xrd, Skullgirls, and a Street Fighter 2 ST tournament where the winner could take home an ST cabinet. So is this the biggest fighting game weekend of the year? What are you looking forward to the most? Hit us up in the comments. Let me know on Twitter at Bizarro_Mike, 1Z2Rs. Don't forget, every week, Conversations with Fireballs, a casual chat with FGC players and personalities, and we'll be on hand at Combo Breaker, so make sure you catch up with me and Yahoo Esports.